You are listening to the We Are Not Safe for Work podcast. Your hosts, Renee and Nadja, will dive into all the different reasons why some entrepreneurs become unemployable.
Bing, bang, boom. Hi, Renee.
Happy New Year.
New Year.
Today is, the 15th. For the record, we have talked many times before now.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
And no one's got knows.
Right. Oh, look at that bottle.
Oh, yeah, it's my fizzy water.
Yeah.
My spicy water.
Here's mine.
No, look at us, we match.
Yeah, totally.
These have expiration dates, right?
Yeah, but they're actually much further out than I thought.
Yeah, but the fact that the bottles have an expiration date and it's like, but you're putting water in it. It makes sense, but still.
It does. I got caught up in that. I thought, because I'm not smart. So I don't know why you're listening to this show. Hopefully it's just for Nadja. Because I'm not smart. I thought I needed to replace them every 6 months. So I was like, had a Sharpie and I was writing there. For years, I was replacing them like every 6 months. And I was like, this is so expensive. That is not at all the case. They're like multi-year old. You can have them for it. Yeah.
Yeah, the expiration is it's like on the bottom somewhere, right?
Yeah, somewhere. I don't know. Maybe we should ask AI.
That's our solution to everything.
It really is everything. I don't know. It's a tiny print and I can't read it, even with my reading glasses. These are not even my normal glasses. These are just my reading glasses and I still can't read the damn thing. But, that's not important.
Okay.
So. We have some news.
Yes.
I said that like it's news. It's not actually news. We just have a new topic that we're changing the format of the show slightly. We had a meeting and kind of talked about how we envision things moving forward just this year. And that's the beauty of annual planning. And so we are did we come up with a definition for this? Did you write something down, like what we decided to call this style of podcasting? Didn't we?
I sure did.
Tell me what it is.
The style is macro neutrality and micro curiosity.
That is amazing, and I'll never remember it, so I'm always going to need you to tell me. And what does that mean, Nadja?
So what does that mean? It means that we are going to approach the topics that we're talking about on a macro, like a 30,000 foot view scale. So we're going to look at it from above, looking down, and then we're going to discuss the topic generally, right? But within that generalization, the micro curiosity is the parts where we rabbit hole. So when we're talking about the broad part of the topic, there are specific aspects of the generalization or the broadness where we're like, I want to know more about that specific part. And then that's where we start going into the micro curiosity and then rabbit holing down those aspects.
That's right. And our first
topic. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me.
That was an off the cuff, on the fly definition.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Thumbs up to you. Right. I can't get the reactions that you get. I don't know why. I think I have something turned off on my computer.
Oh, look at that.
Wow, that is... Oh, wait. You know what it is? I'm never still long enough. I am such a fidgeter.
Okay.
Yeah, which makes my wife crazy.
My camera likes to think that I'm frozen pretty frequently.
Because,
there will be times where I just like stop moving and I'm staring. But it's because I'm thinking, like I'm absorbing. But then...
Yeah.
Then it thinks that I'm just not moving, or it's like, no, she's trying really hard to get the heart emojis to go, or whatever it is.
Right. That's funny. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's introduce our topic.
Thanks, Zoom AI.
That's right. Thanks, Zoom AI. You're the best. Okay. Let's drum roll, introduce our topic. I don't know how to make a drum roll sound.
It won't work because Zoom's the noise cancellation thing. It's the same as you can't hear clapping.
Oh, I know. My dogs are losing their minds and you have no idea, right?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, no idea. Okay. All right. So introduce our topic.
All right. So our topic today is why some robots are designed to look human and what the data suggests about that choice.
Yes. And my
So
goodness,
yeah. This has
has this.
rabbit holed me a lot.
Yes. Oh my God. What a simple question.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say now, the structure for this first episode is that we are going to do what I call Toastmasters, which is we're going to
Mhm.
tell you what we're going to tell you,
Yep.
and I'm going to tell you right now that I think this is going to turn into a full season of a show and a minimum of 10 episodes, minimum. Um,
Minimum.
and yeah, and I don't know about you, but I didn't expect that when we first started this conversation.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Because even just my overviews, I mean, like the number of times I had to figure out, okay, I need to condense this more because this isn't an overview. Okay, this is still too long. How do I condense it even more? How do I generalize this even more? So basically I was going backwards. Like I was rabbit holing and then I'm like, okay, how do I like really shrink this and tighten this up so that
well, I have some bad news. I didn't shrink or tighten anything
okay.
because
Okay,
everything
no.
keeps expanding, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
still
yeah.
on the first bullet point. So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. So
So do you
you'll
want to
have
go
to,
over the core framing question real quick?
sure, let's do it.
All right. So our episode title is Why Some Robots Are Designed to Look Human and What the Data Suggests About That Choice, right? But the core
Yep.
framing question is what functional, social, and economic factors influence why certain robots are designed with human like features? So we're always going to come back to that core framing question. We're going to
Right.
focus on functional, social, and economic factors. So, just to give you like the broad view of what this is
Right.
gonna look like.
And can we put these questions in the show notes for each related episode so that everybody can remember
Absolutely.
where we're at and what we're doing here?
Yes, yes, yes,
Um,
of course.
yeah, okay. So we have some notices here. This is not why do robots have to look human?
Hmm.
Not is this creepy? Yeah, it is. And not are we doomed? Not are we doomed?
Yep.
Um, we are examining design decisions and trade-offs, not vibes. And I
Yep.
don't know about you, but that is tough for me because I feel I'm so vibe oriented, but I'm also, super factual. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be fine. But I think the vibes will be the parts of our conversation. We won't
Oh,
be able to avoid
absolutely.
it
Yeah.
completely. Um,
And then just for those who are actually watching, you'll see that I'm always looking up, like up and over the camera. That's because my bigger screen is up there, and that's where all
mm,
of my notes are.
right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because like you said, it becomes more and more rabbit holey. Like you ask one question and then it like burrows down into another level of questions, and then from there it's another level of questions. But in order for me personally to not like go completely off track, I have notes where it's like, okay, come back to this. Like this is what you need to focus on. So I've got all my notes up there. I just
Yeah.
thought I'd put that disclaimer out there.
No, no, I think that's interesting. And it's true. This is a bit different for us because normally we propose a thought and then we go in this like
And
hour
then
and a
we
half
just talk.
tangent about it.
Yes, yes.
And so this is gonna because we are working really hard to stay with facts
We're trying
and
to be
just
very
present the
intentional
facts.
about that.
So in
Yep.
other words, we're just sharing our research, really.
Exactly.
And so that's a bit different, which means we're going to be all over the place and we're going to have to be like um sourcing, and it's going to be interesting. So, okay.
Mhm.
All right. So let's see what's next. So we said we're examining design decisions and trade-offs,
Yep.
not vibes.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um, so most robots don't look human at all. The vast majority are boxes, arms, or wheels, which is interesting. So why do the few that do resemble humans attract the most attention and investment? That's a good question.
And that last part is very important. So basically, if human-shaped robots aren't the most efficient design, why do we keep building them that way?
Yeah. And honestly, I think as we go deeper, I know today's just the overview, but are we certain that they're not the most efficient? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, and I'll be really curious to find out.
Well, Renee, that was part of my research, and there's a lot to go into in that section.
Well, I can't wait to hear that.
Yep.
So what are the scope and the ground rules for us?
Okay. Do you want me to go over that?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So the scope and ground rules. So this episode is going to examine why some robots are designed with human-like form or behavior, focusing on functionality, human interaction, economics, and design constraints. So it's going to draw from robotics research, human-computer interaction studies, and actual real-world deployments. So this episode does not speculate about artificial consciousness or future sentience. So it's functionality. We are not talking about artificial consciousness or sentience. We are talking a little bit about AI, but in like a really basic sense.
Right. In the concept of how it fits into this topic about the design of a robot. Right?
The physicality of it. Yes, because that is
by the way,
the focus.
Those things that we're not talking about are outrageously interesting, and
that's a
we
whole
might talk
season
about
on its own.
Exactly.
Or
Seasons. Multiple seasons, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're here for the sci-fi, this is not your place.
Right. Yeah. That's for later.
That's right. Which which is interesting. But that leads us to excuse me. We realized immediately we have to have shared definitions, which is funny because this is so important to you specifically.
It is.
And it's just something over the course of this entire podcast, defining what we're talking about has always been so crucial. So I want you to go over the definitions.
Sure. Yes. Okay. So the shared definitions that we have, these are the definitions we will refer to for this episode or for this series, right?
So far.
So when we talk about a humanoid robot, the definition of a humanoid robot is a robot with a body plan resembling human anatomy. Humanoid robot, human anatomy. Okay.
Right.
Anthropomorphism is attributing human traits to non-human systems. So, I mean,
which is fascinating.
I was like, it's also the real definition. So,
and I think a way can we just tangent for just a second on that? I think a way to frame that and think about that is if you talk to an LLM, if you use an LLM in any form, you may have a name for your LLM.
Right.
And that name is probably a very human name, and you may have even assigned a gender to it.
Yep.
Even without thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to frame that thinking.
Well, and also anthropomorphism doesn't just refer to like machines, because you can attribute human traits to like your like this whiny little monster behind me. Like, yeah, right? So she's banging her tail, but like she's whining at me. And so her whining, I'm saying, I mean, I don't know if she's actually whining, but like when we humans do that, that means that we're just, we're complaining about something. Oh,
yes, that's right.
But and here's our special guest. She knows I'm talking about her. See, I am anthropomorphizing her because I am attributing human characteristics to her behavior. Ow.
Ouch.
She's not a human.
No, but she definitely wants to be on the mic.
Yeah, down. Do you want to talk? Down. Good girl. So there's our special guest.
Yeah.
The perfect example of anthropomorphizing. Anthropomorphize. But I can't even say it anymore.
I don't even know.
Now it's a tongue twister.
Yes, it is. Okay. Do we have any more definitions? Or?
Yes. So the next definition is human-robot interaction, or HRI. which I didn't know that was
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. So human robot interaction is how humans perceive and engage with robots. Okay.
And that's called HRI?
HRI, human robot interaction.
Interesting.
The next definition is task specific robot. So that's robots optimized for a single function. A good example of a task specific robot is your Roomba.
Right.
Because what does a Roomba do? It vacuums. Its single function is to vacuum. And then general purpose environment. So the definition of the general purpose environment is spaces designed around human bodies. So general purpose environment is related to human bodies, design or spaces that are designed for us humans to be in.
Which I think is going to become a really important part of this conversation, if I speculate.
Absolutely. Yes, I can definitively tell you that is a very important definition.
Yeah. Which, and by the way, as we get further into this, keep in mind, we don't know the answer to this question.
Right.
We are going to study and research and learn as we go because we chose a topic that we think we know, but we don't know.
Yeah. And actually, that's a really good segue into the next part, which is our preconceived ideas or assumptions before going into anything. So, Renee, tell me about your process and I'll share mine of how you came up with your assumption or your preconceived ideas or thoughts.
Okay. So, so I think what I think the answer is to the question. So let's go back to the question. Why are some robots are designed to look human? And what does the data suggest about that choice? Okay. Mm-hmm. So my thinking about why robots are designed the way they are is because I started my working life in manufacturing. So I think because that's where I started my work and Americans are defined by their work, most of my approach to work and life comes from the questions of from the lens of someone who worked in manufacturing and also as a result someone who thinks about productivity, because I think in the digital space we tend to think about productivity as a note-taking tool or something like that, but whenever I think about productivity, I'm actually thinking about it from almost like a mechanical engineering perspective of a facility or a shop, right? And so that's kind of how I tend to approach things and think about things. Is that what you meant by the question?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to hear my assumptions?
Yes. Talk about your assumption.
Okay. When I think about the human form of robots, I always assume it is to fit into human created or human intended situations. So, for example, our tools are built for human hands. So think of like a screwdriver, right? Mm-hmm. It's built for a human hand. So we need robots that can use them and press buttons that are designed for human hands. So when I was thinking about that, one of my examples in my mind that immediately came to mind was, I don't know why, because I've never been in this situation for the most part, but if a robot was going to be running an elevator for me, like you want a robot that can easily hit the button that I want to go to for that floor, right? Sure. Because elevator buttons are designed for human fingertips, right? Mm-hmm. And so I start thinking about all of these things, and the robot needs to fit into the human environment because it would be much easier to build a robot that fits into our environment than it would be to revise our environment. So it's cheaper to build the robot, far more expensive to revise the environment to fit the robot and the human, right? Yeah. Because just because a robot could do something doesn't mean we always want it to. We might want to hit the button ourselves.
Right.
So that's kind of where I was coming at it. But at the same time, I did not realize until you pointed it out to me, which is how this whole series got started, is that robots are being built with these strange human attributes, such as eyes. Some of them are like having eyes that look like actual eyeballs. Why the fuck? Right? Mm-hmm. And then some of them have butts.
Badonk donks.
Right. I mean, like cute little butts.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why. That's freaking me out. And so I want to know. And but at the same time, and I don't like that. I find that weird and I don't like it. But at the same time, I also don't like the blacked out face. So if you were to look up an Optimus robot, maybe
Mm-hmm.
we should pull one up on the screen. They have this black face that's like almost glass black.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that creepy and I don't like it either. I would think that it's something coming at me to rob me, or I think of a thief.
Right.
So I don't understand why they need to be like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So my thinking was very pragmatic from the perspective of we needed to do things that humans do
Mm-hmm.
because we know they're going to replace work for us. But they have to be able to work on the machines and the cars and the house and all the things that are built for us in order. But I'm starting to think I might be wrong on my assumption. Now,
I don't think there's a right or wrong. I mean, it's just this is the definition or thought process that you have based on the information that you currently have.
so that's mine. Let's put a pin in that. When I
Sure.
shared this concept with Andy of what we were going to talk about, she had something that she
Yes, I want to
really,
know Andy's
yeah,
assumption.
came from a completely different perspective and point of view that I did not see coming. And I'm really blown away by it. So here it is. Andy believes they look human like because we are trying to create a new being in our image. In the theory of God, we were created in God's image. As a people, we make God in our own image, which, by the way, is a controversial statement, but here it is. Make God in our own image because we want to think that we are a bit like God. So to
Mm.
her, it only makes sense that the next God mode is for us to create something in our image.
Go Andy. Andy and I we have very similar assumptions.
Yeah. I
Although
love
mine
how I'm,
isn't, I was gonna say mine isn't as eloquently stated. Like I have a sent or one, two, three. I have three sentences for
oh,
my
okay.
assumption.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so simple, seriously. Um, so how I got to my assumption, just to give you some background. So my background is in healthcare. So my preconceived notion is that machines in medicine or in healthcare are tools. So typically they're tools and they're task specific robots, right? See, we're going back to
Yeah.
definitions already.
Uh-huh.
So for me, when it comes to robots or robotics in the scope of like my experience with it, it is here is a machine that does this specific thing. Like this is a surgical tool. It helps to navigate the really tiny blood vessels, in a way that humans cannot do as precisely, right? So that
Yeah.
that was my preconceived notion. My assumptions, so these are my three sentences. You're gonna laugh at me because seriously, I'm so simple. Um, my first sentence says, because eventually someone is going to try to have sex with it. That's the reason why robots are designed to look human because they eventually they're going to have sex with it. Sentence
I,
number
I
one.
didn't think of that. I did not think of that. I honestly didn't.
Sentence number two, to go with sentence number one, humans are disgusting. And
Okay.
sentence number three is humans want to play God.
Well, interesting. Yeah.
So Andy stated it so much more eloquently than I did. I am your explain like I'm five. That is my assumption. They want to
Mm-hmm.
have sex with it. Humans are disgusting. We want to play God.
Well, that's really interesting. So if we were to sum it up, I think it's about function in the workspace too, or in the home space. Um, and you think it's about sex and God, and
Yep.
Andy thinks it's about creating being a God
Creating,
ourselves.
being
Yeah.
a God. Yeah.
Um, which, to me, the flaw with y'all's perspective on the God thing is that they're going to be so much smarter than us and stronger than us. So how are we the God? But anyway, um,
Because we created it. So okay, so the definition of God, right? What is your definition of God? We're going off on a tangent here, by the way.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
no, it's
not
okay.
this is not in our notes, in our
No,
structure
no,
at
no.
all.
This is what makes it a podcast, though.
Yeah.
That's a great question. What is my definition? I think God. Well, shit. My first thought is God is a creator.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
That's my definition of God. My definition of God is creator.
That's right. Well,
So we are trying to be godlike, or we are trying to be God in creating life.
yes.
The creator
Yes.
of life.
There you go. I hadn't thought about it like that. Okay.
Although I guess
So,
if you want to be like really woke or whatever, you could say that technically that means women are God because they create life. Do we need
that
to
is a
edit
good point.
this? Like,
No.
do we need to cut this?
No, leave it.
I'm like-
It is what it is. Yeah. Interesting.
The views and thoughts expressed on this podcast are our own.
That's right. That's right. Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
let's continue on. Now that we have our preconceived thoughts, our assumptions are out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll circle back later at the very end to see how close we were
We will. We
or
will.
how far we were.
Okay. So the rest of this, we're just going to outline, and I want everybody to know this is our outline currently.
Uh-huh.
There will be tangents and rabbit hole episodes, and
Mhm.
I already know of the first one. Although actually the next, I already know of two tangents, which we won't spoil. We'll save for tangent time.
Mhm.
But because I have a tangent, and then because of something you said before we started recording, you have an assignment of a tangent episode now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So let's
Although
see.
I've already forgotten what it is now. Hang on. Oh, we'll talk about it later. Just
hold
okay,
on.
go.
I'm just
Go
going to
through
put
the
it in the
historical
chat.
context.
I'm going to put it in the chat.
Okay, please do. I have a short attention span or memory or
There you
both.
go. Write this
Oh,
down.
yeah. Okay, yeah. That was a good one.
Yes. Very good. Okay. So
If I
yes,
do
you'll have
say
to
so myself.
stay tuned so that you can learn what we're talking about.
Okay.
Okay. So the next part of this will be historical context.
Yes.
So historical context includes early industrial robots, arms, cages, and factories. I have no idea what a cage is, so I'm excited to find out. I mean, I know what a cage is, but I don't know what it is in this context.
Right.
Do you? Do you know?
I mean, I have my own definition of a cage
In this context?
in this context.
Okay, cool. Well, that will be interesting. Um, Expansion into human spaces, hospitals, homes, and retail. That's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm particularly interested in the retail aspect of that. Rise of social and service robots. Interesting. Media and cultural feedback loops. Design follows expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Robots didn't become human shaped first. Human environments existed first, and that matters. So that is the framing that I'll use as I go through all the research on this part. So there you go. Do you want to talk about the next part?
Sure. The next part that we will dive into is the system anatomy. So these are design constraints. We're going to break down the engineering reality. So basically, like, excuse me, like human built spaces, stairs, doors, and tools. Tools designed for hands, not claws or wheels. Kind of going back to what you were talking
Did you say not
about.
claws? Like
Yeah,
claw?
not claws.
Okay.
Claws,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
About the elevator and buttons. Buttons are designed for humans, right? So these are tools designed for hands, not claws or wheels. Communication norms like eye contact and gestures, and then safety and predictability requirements. So I actually have some segues over here on my notes, right? So an important point before I go into a little bit of a segue is human form is often a compatibility solution, not an aesthetic one. So it's about compatibility, not aesthetics.
Which is what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I have my little notes over here. Basically, when it comes to system anatomy, like the design constraints, like when people picture humanoid robots, like I think my preconceived notion is that people always imagine something really elegant, right? Like something elegant and natural looking. But the thing is, aren't most robots not natural looking? Not really very elegant, like an in
Yeah.
an engineering perspective. Um, so from an engineering perspective, the human body is actually one of the worst designs you can possibly copy.
Right.
So I do go see this is my and my summary is also really long.
Well, I mean, maybe you save that for one of the episodes then.
Yeah, yeah, that could be like the overview of the deep dive, but um essentially like one of the big things that I do want to address here regarding the system anatomy that will tie into the episode that will be dedicated to the system anatomy and design constraints is the fact that did you know most successful robots today, they don't look human. The most successful robots today that exist today, they don't look human. They're usually like factory robots are typically bolted to a floor, so
Mm-hmm.
they're
Mm-hmm.
not mobile in the sense of like they're not mobile in the space,
Got
like
it.
the entire
And how do
space,
you
right?
define success?
How do you define success? Oh,
Yeah,
it,
in
for
this
me,
context.
yeah. So in this context, the success is regarding efficiency. So can be done more efficiently. uh the successful robots can accomplish the task more efficiently than a human can. That is
Okay.
the definition of success, a successful robot in this context.
Interesting. Can you
Okay,
write that down later?
sure.
Okay.
We'll make a little note here. Yeah, so the most successful robots don't look human. They're the factory robots are bolted to the floor. Delivery robots use wheels, right? And then warehouse robots typically glide instead of walk.
Huh.
Whether that gliding is done with some sort of track,
Yeah.
but they don't stomp, whether it's bipedal or quadpedal.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
I just wanted to plant that little seed because that is part of what made me go rabbit holing even more. Um, and then just so you know, I do have a whole section that I've started rabbit holing of why engineers do it anyway, because I think that's so fascinating. So that's part of the system anatomy to look
Well,
forward
and
to.
that's fascinating because yeah, and that kind of leads into the next counterintuitive question, right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
if humanoid robots are harder and more expensive to build, which I didn't know that was the case, so that alone is interesting,
Mm-hmm.
why not avoid them entirely? So we're going to explore the cost of perception versus the cost of training humans,
Mm-hmm.
um, learning curves for workers and users,
Yep.
which is going to be interesting,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
um, trust, predictability, and compliance data. That's interesting. Do you know what that means even? Because I don't even know that particular bullet point is fascinating.
Oh, the trust, predictability, and compliance data.
Yeah, like, do you have a summary on that?
I do. So the trust factor is familiar shapes lower cognitive friction, which just means that if the shape is familiar, we are less likely to reject it.
Huh. Well, I can't wait to get into that.
So humans are faster to trust agents that follow human social cues. And this goes back to something you mentioned earlier, which is like faces, eye gaze, and body orientation. That's what it means by trust. So the trust, like so basically we're not trusting robots because they're smarter than us. We trust them because, um,
They're familiar.
since they look familiar, yeah, it's an automatic, oh, well, it's shaped similar, so I should be able to trust it like I do another human, although that's a whole other conversation we could have.
Yeah, exactly.
The predictability factor is so humans predict humans best. People are terrible at predicting machines, but we are really good at predicting humans because
Mm,
we can visualize social like physical body cues. It goes back to the whole conversation of most communication is nonverbal.
yeah.
And so because we recognize nonverbal communication in other humans, that sets our brains up for predictability because if somebody shifts uncomfortably, oh, look at that.
Wow.
If someone shifts uncomfortably in their seat, the predictable, like our brain says, oh, okay, well, then the predictable reaction is maybe they're not going to like what's being said next or what's currently being said. So they may lash out, So we have these like paths of predictability that we can take based on the cues that we are seeing. We cannot do that with
Mm,
machines
yeah.
because machines are very structured, right? So essentially, predictability feels safe.
Well, I can't wait to learn more about that.
And then the compliance part is see, I already wrote this down. So compliance is the uncomfortable part because humans comply more with instructions when they come from a human or something that looks human enough.
Oh, I don't like that,
So,
and I hope that we talk a lot about that.
yeah, so a
Um,
robot, this is a quote that I read, which I was like, oh, I need to keep this. I didn't source it though. Okay, I'll find out where I read it. A robot with a face doesn't need authority, it borrows ours.
oh shit. No, I don't like that.
Oh, but isn't it like, doesn't it give you chills?
Hmm. I think compliance could be a whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, just that section, the trust, predictability, and compliance data, like when I started just looking into it, because similar to what you said, I was like, well, what does that mean?
right.
Just these little snippets, because this is just the overview. These
Yeah, yeah,
little
yeah.
snippets that I of notes that I took down, I was like, this is this is the reason why. Oh, it goes. We go into it later, but like this is the reason why the uncanny valley scenario
Mm,
like triggers us so much because
interesting.
it makes us question the trust. Oh, there. It makes us question the trust, the predictability, and like, are you going to be compliant with something that gives you the heebie-jeebies? No.
Huh. Well, that's already going in a direction I didn't expect. Um, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So where are we at now? Number seven in our notes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So number
Comparative
7,
analysis.
yep,
Go
comparative
ahead.
analysis. So I have oh my goodness, so much comparative analysis. Like it makes me so happy. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so the comparative analysis, we compare robot forms. We compare robot forms by function, not aesthetics, just to kind of go back to what we talked about before.
Hmm.
So, the industrial arms, the wheeled robot or delivery robots, animal inspired robots,
Think
and then
Boston
humanoid.
Dynamics.
Uh-huh. Think Boston Dynamics and then humanoid robots. Um, so we're going to focus for the comparative analysis, we focus mostly on, or not mostly, only on metrics. So the metrics are things like cost, energy efficiency, task success, kind of going back to what you said
Hmm.
before,
Hmm.
um, error tolerance, and then human supervision required.
Okay.
So, so for this comparison, just so you know, because again, I started taking my notes on it and things like that. So in the comparison, basically what we're doing is we're ignoring aesthetics, meaning just because it looks impressive doesn't mean that it functions really well, right?
Right.
So essentially tying it back to something I had mentioned earlier, and I don't know if any of you caught it, but from a designer perspective, the human body is the worst design that you can copy for a machine. So the more human a robot looks, the worse it actually performs on every operational metric, almost every operational metric.
That is insane. I always heard that God's biggest mistake was the human knee.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
because it's not attached to anything. Did you know that your patella is not connected to anything?
I unfortunately do.
Yeah.
um, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it's all suspended by ligaments.
yes.
It's a bone that is not connected to any other bone.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Isn't it? Like
Yeah,
that's why it moves around. That's so crazy.
that is crazy. Um, yeah, I think that's interesting, which just keeps going back to our question, why? Why are we doing this?
Why? Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so you want to talk about the uncanny valley trade-offs? What do we have
Sure.
here?
Yeah, I can talk about the uncanny
Okay.
valley trade-offs. So basically the structure of this section, when we go deep diving into it, um, we're going to go into the intended benefits. So that's familiarity and trust,
That word's coming
um,
up a lot.
which is coming up a lot. So if you wanted to, do we want to kind of give an overview on that?
If
Excuse
you
me.
want to.
Okay. Um, so if making robots, basically the intended benefit of familiarity and trust. So if making robots more human or human looking is supposed to increase trust, then the question is, why does it suddenly backfire? So
Ooh.
the core contradictions in this specific bullet point is um, some human likeness increases comfort. So if there's some humanity and or some humanness in it, right? But too much human likeness causes discomfort. And it's a very sharp drop off. It's not like it's there's not like the gray area where it's like, "Oh, well, I'm okay with this." It's either you feel really comfortable because it's got the recognizable human aspects, or you feel very uncomfortable because it's too human and your brain knows that it's not.
Do you and I guess we have testing on this to know where that's at, or are we still trying to figure it out?
What do you mean testing?
Like, I guess, are there robot factories that are constantly testing to see what the tolerance of our uncanny valleyness is?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. So that kind of goes into like the observed effect of discomfort at near human resemblance, right?
Yeah.
And then what you're asking is specifically the third bullet point, which is behavioral and psychological findings. So what the data shows, like at the really high level, where are my notes on that one? So the data is showing that slight anthropomorphism equals
Hmm.
a positive response, and then near human realism is a sharp negative reaction. And so for the behavioral and psychological findings at the very like broad overview, the high level, the response shows up as discomfort, distrust, avoidance, and then increased scrutiny. So there's a reason why anytime we look at something that's AI generated or AI and it gives us the uncanny valley feeling, like all of a sudden we're inspecting every single little tiny aspect, right? Like trying to pick it apart
Yeah.
and figure out what is it about this thing that's giving me that uncanny valley feeling, and is it justified? Like, am I correct in feeling uncomfortable with what I'm looking at? And there's almost a sense of accomplishment when it's like, oh, I'm justified in feeling this way because it was AI generated.
Yeah.
And
That's
then the
interesting.
Yeah. And then the last bullet point of the uncanny valley trade-off is where does the effect weaken or disappear? So, spoiler alert, uncanny valley, it's not permanent. It's not a permanent feeling, and that should make you feel really uncomfortable.
That does make me feel really uncomfortable.
Because the
Um,
more you're exposed to it, the more you're exposed to the uncanny valley feeling, the more you start turning it off. It's that exposure technique, the same thing that they do with horses.
Oh, no, I don't know about horses. What?
Oh, so with horses, like when if you're training horses, you you what is it? You do repeated exposures of different sounds or textures and things like that to get them used to it.
Oh, okay.
So because horses are easily startled.
Mm.
And so part of horse training is like horse trainers will go out with like umbrellas, right? And they'll do like they'll just pop it open and then the horse
Oh,
startles and then they'll close it. Couple, 20 seconds later, they do it again. Horse startles. They close it. They do it again. They do it repeatedly until the horse stops reacting to it.
interesting.
So that's what happens to us as humans. Repeated exposure means that we become accustomed to it. And then we almost like the uncanny valley red flags and things like that. It dampens.
Okay. Okay. I'm squirming in my chair a little.
Sorry.
You're way ahead of me on research, by the way. I'm still stuck on my first thing because I keep rabbit holing. Um,
Oh, well, that's the thing. Like when I mean, you should see my notes page because every time I start to rabbit hole, I have to consciously tell myself, okay, so these are my questions that make me want to go into a rabbit hole. I'm putting a pin in it.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that because I've been rabbit holing this week and yes, okay.
Yep.
That's a good lesson learned because otherwise we'll never get through this.
I know,
Um,
exactly.
okay, so what's next? Oh, current state snapshot.
Hmm.
So anchor in reality. Um, where humanoid robots are actually deployed, which, man, that's going to be interesting. Where they are not, which industries favor human like form, which actively avoid it. Now, I haven't done any research on this yet. I'm going into this cold and I'm curious. And that's the biggest thing is I am so curious because these are questions that I haven't even really thought about until we started doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I I keep going back to, of course, manufacturing, but also I thought I would be most interested in retail, but I keep going back to like hotels and stuff.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about that and farms.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am not going to, I'm going to keep an open mind when I'm asking these questions and doing the research on these, but I already have some preconceived ideas that I'm curious about.
Hmm.
Um, and if anybody listening has any, I would love to hear what you're curious about, like what um, areas of work or life that you're most interested in hearing about for where they're being launched right now and where they're being avoided. Because the avoided question, I
Mm.
just assume they're going to be everywhere. The avoided question is
Yeah. Yeah.
fascinating.
Hmm.
And so I'm really curious about that. Um, yeah, this is exciting.
It is.
Do you have any guesses about
No.
where they're not being used? No. Okay.
No, no guesses, just because I can it's hard to imagine an industry where it can't be used.
Yeah. My first thought was Secret Service.
Mm, no.
Um, but well, because that's probably the most important because I think okay, military's looking into using them, right?
Mhm.
And but Secret Service is probably the most important national security job.
Mhm.
So if robots were doing it, then they could be hacked. So that might be one area where humans have the longest lasting effort, but I don't know.
I mean, I could see that. I guess like your where you went with it is very
Hmm.
different from where I went with it because I went more into the like the it's almost like a functional, like okay, so Secret Service robots, you're looking what I'm understanding is you're looking at it from the standpoint of here is a Secret Service agent, a person, right?
Sure.
And we are
Yeah.
replacing it with a robot Secret Service agent that is
Well,
a
since this is about
similar,
humanoids, yeah.
right, which is similar build and things like that. But in my head, I was thinking about it from the standpoint of almost like a physical barrier.
Well, that makes sense. I could see that. Yeah. Like a layer,
Yeah, like a
right?
layer. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. Um, I could see that happening where it's like a perimeter.
Yes. And then somehow they can create some sort of like protective bubble,
Yeah,
right?
right.
I mean, I don't know how that would work, but I am also not a scientist or inventor or anything like that. Like I
And I
can,
am not a security expert,
and I am
so
not a security expert.
yeah.
Yep, yep.
I just like watching those those movies like White House Down and
Oh
London Has
yeah.
Fallen. So
Hmm.
it's like I find those to be very fun, mindless, exciting movies.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, in that scenario, the robot would immediately get hacked, and that would be what triggers the whole movie. And then,
Yep.
yeah. So, okay, what's the next? Future scenarios.
Yeah, future scenarios. So these aren't predictions. Like we're talking about actual future scenarios. It like there are three things that we can frame regarding
Sure.
future scenarios. One is if robots continue entering human spaces. So basically, what that means is if robots are designed to operate in spaces that we humans already occupy, like what are the high level advantages or what are the advantages and limitations of that? So,
Hmm.
um,
And
I
these
mean, I
aren't guesses because we know
we know
it's
it's
in process.
exactly,
Yeah.
yes. So the like how I've started to break it out is because each scenario will include an advantage, limitation, and then engineering, like open engineering questions. So the way that I have it, or the way that I started looking into it was if robots are designed to operate in the spaces that we already occupy, some of the advantages are minimal infrastructure change, right? That
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Faster adoption, and there's social familiarity. And the limitations are performance inefficiencies, high design complexity, and then ongoing supervision needs, like human
Mm.
supervision needs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, another future scenario is um, if we redesign spaces for robots and not people. So if environments adapt to robots instead of um,
Yeah.
robots adapting to us, the advantages are there's going to be efficiency gains, obviously, right? Simpler robot designs, maybe less humanoid, and then
Mm-hmm.
lower operating costs. But the limitations mean that there's going to be an upfront infrastructure cost because then we have to redesign everything. There's a reason why um, older cities and towns, it's hard to build like rebuild it, so you build around it. Um there's reduced flexibility for humans because now the we are accommodating the robotic states. The environment is accommodating robots instead of prioritizing robots instead of humans. And then there's equity and access concerns because the way that robots can access an environment is going to be very different from the way that humans do.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last future scenario is if cost pressure outweigh social design benefits. So basically, we're thinking if economics wins over psychology,
Mm-hmm.
you'll have cheaper systems, faster scaling, clear ROI, but there will be lower public acceptance. There's higher human friction, and there's increased training burden. So the robot works, but people don't like it.
And that happens.
Yeah.
I think it's happened over time with, I bet we could bring in a few examples of how that's happened over time with
Mm-hmm.
different things that were really good and maybe
Yeah.
better. Like, isn't the DVD an example of that where there was a better laser disc was like technically better? I
Mm-hmm.
think I could be wrong on that, but I think that's one.
Yeah, something
Um,
like that.
yeah. I
But
think that's go ahead.
yeah. Well, I was going to say, so with the future scenarios, like it's these future scenarios, again, it's not predictions of what could happen. Like these are things that are currently in play. Like we are living in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the question becomes like it's not necessarily what robots can do, it's what we're willing to change for them to do the things that we want them to do, right? Like where are we willing to sacrifice a convenience designed for humans so that robots can do something better or more efficiently?
What an interesting question. What an interesting
And that was
question.
just a question I came up with on the fly.
Yeah, you should write that down.
Oh, I don't know what I said.
What are we willing to sacrifice? Convenience for humans so that
Oh,
robots can do it better.
what are we humans willing to sacrifice so that robots can do their tasks better?
Yes. And don't forget to write down the question that I put in the chat.
I did.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. I've lost my way. Where are we?
Methodology and limitations.
Um, so lab studies versus real world behavior. That's going to be excellent, by the way. Because in the lab, one thing happens because the environment is set up for the robot, right? And then what happens in the real world can be wildly different. I immediately go to thinking about the early Boston Dynamic robots.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's an excellent example of that. But
absolutely. Yeah.
as the technology improves, there should be a shorter and shorter gap between the funny mishaps.
Uh-huh.
And so I'll be really curious to learn more about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need a drink of water.
I know, same.
Mm. I'm going to read your next one. This one's going to be done by Nadja, but cultural differences in robot perception.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that's going to be good.
It is. Well, because, robots don't mean the same thing everywhere. Like, it's based on, let's see.
And
Hang
I
on.
think the first thing you have
I'm
to
like,
do,
I have notes
I'm just
ready.
gonna put this out there, is I would like you to define cultural in this moment
Okay.
because I mean, are we talking culture as a nation or region? Because I think even thinking about that is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Because like if you think about Japan is far advanced before us, and so is China,
Hmm.
right? But
Yep.
how are people in Northeast Texas or in Kentucky going to
Yep.
feel about this versus someone who's working in Silicon Valley?
Right. Well,
Because
and cultural isn't just, the definition that we know. Cultural could also be like generational because each generation has its own
yes,
culture, right? So,
yes,
culture is basically whatever environment you're in,
that's right.
whether that is
Yeah.
a geographical environment or a perception, like an age perception environment
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
experience environment or lack thereof, lack of experience and exposure environment. So culture is the environment that you're in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm
that
excited
one's
about that
that
one.
one's a good one. Yeah.
I know. I'm really excited about that one. I'm smiling real big. I just think that particular, well, that's going to be good
Yeah, that is gonna be good.
and dangerous. Um,
Mm.
So then our thing here is rapidly changing hardware and software constraints.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably everything. That is like because everything else that we're going to cover here is going to honestly be defined by that, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because the only things slowing us down are those two things, hardware and software constraints.
Yeah.
Um, and I'd like to go on a little tangent about that.
No, go ahead.
Um, have you heard about the latest release of Claude Code, where it's called, what is it called? Claude Cowork. Have you heard of that? It's
No.
okay if you haven't. Okay.
No.
Um, so Claude Cowork is just a new thing that Anthropic launched, and it's just Claude Code. Like, and I have been building all these tools that I've been building. I've been doing Claude Code in my terminal, which is a new phrase for me because I never used terminal before Claude Code, but it worked in my terminal. So now there's a new version of Claude Code that has been launched. But the interesting thing, the reason that I'm bringing this up was this was built, this new version of Claude Code was built by Claude, suggested by Claude, built by Claude, and launched by Claude. So humans didn't code this. Claude did.
That's crazy. So Claude had a baby.
Basically, Claude had a baby and called it Claude Code. Claude Coworker, really.
Yeah.
Let me.
That's insane.
Yeah, let me. I only bring this up because
because that's the thing. Like, it created something that didn't previously exist, right? Like, that's the whole point of creation. Creation is creating something that didn't previously exist.
That's right. So
and Claude did it.
That's right. So let me get real super clear because I think that the definitions on this are crucial.
Okay.
So let me get to the Axios. Released an article about this, so I'm going to read from Axios. I'll put the article link here for show notes.
It's 2:30.
I
don't know if you heard that. My computer is telling me what time it is.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
Oh, is it time for you to go?
No, it just means that the kids are going to be coming home from school soon.
Okay, so here's what Axios wrote. Anthropic revealed this week that one of its AI tools, Claude Code, built a new product, Cowork, which allows others to use AI for workspace tasks normally done by humans, creating presentations, summarizing meetings, consolidating research. You read that right. AI built AI that will displace human work with AI.
Okay, that's crazy.
It is crazy. And the funny thing is, I put this on Facebook and like nobody's responding to it. Just you know, it's like people that is to me ties in directly to these limitations because rapidly changing hardware and software constraints. So as the AI builds more of itself, which is what just happened here, like you said, AI had a baby.
Yeah.
AI built an AI tool. Up to this point, humans were coding with maybe the assistance of AI, but they were still the ones coding these AI tools. And this is the first that I know of AI coding AI to launch a tool.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that actually kind of ties in with something that like I have it down as a source. It's a paper from Cornell University.
Okay.
And the title of this paper, okay, the study is The Pace of Artificial Intelligence Innovations, Speed, Talent, and Trial and Error. So basically, the summary of this specific paper is it's a tie-in to robotics and AI. So all of the underlying hardware and software constraints, they're evolving so rapidly that their research findings become out of date just within a few years. So
yeah,
because of the pace of AI innovation, it's almost it's just really similar to, you blink, or not even you blink, but I was talking to somebody about we were talking specifically about real estate and appraisals. And one of the things that I had mentioned, because I'm in a CE class for appraisals right now, is the data set that appraisers use in order to come in, on behalf of the lender to appraise your property, to make sure that the lender isn't going to give you more money than the property's worth, kind of thing. The data sets that they're pulling, since it changes so fast, like, they need to have like immediate access to this data. And because of technology advancements, they have that capability to do that now, right? Whereas like 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, they depended on a physical publication that came out either once a month, and then there's a big one that comes out once a quarter. But like that's where they pulled their appraisal data from. So, just a decade ago, your appraisals could be a month out of date.
Do prices fluctuate that much
In a
or
steadily
value?
in a fast expanding area, yes. Yes, it absolutely can. It
That's
fluctuates
interesting.
enough that, yeah, like a month out of date is it's a big difference. I mean, think about what happened
Fascinating.
during COVID.
Yeah, you're right.
Like in a what, 6-month span, property values doubled.
That's
Doubled.
crazy.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, that is insane. Wow. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Um, okay. So this is our
So
new
that's our
series.
that's our overview. This is the
Right.
overview episode.
And I just wanted, before we go, I wanted to know, could you share your screen and show these images that we have at the top?
Oh, yeah,
I
sure.
just want to talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Share screen. All right, there. Can you see that?
Yep. Okay.
Let me make it
So,
bigger.
yeah, I was going to say, can you zoom in on that a little bit? Perfect. Thank you. So, these were the humanoid robots from 2024.
Let's do 150. Oh, there we go. Look at that.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Um, so the one on the far left, HD Atlas from Boston Dynamics, right? They have a very defined look, in my opinion. That one's
Mm-hmm.
already been retired, which is fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
Figure one, and I also, because we're American, I'm going to take a little pride in this, that most of these are American. Um, but we do have the Canadian one, which I've never heard of. But I'm just looking at these, and what really caught my, no pun intended here, eye about these were the faces.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wanted to know, which one do you feel the most comfortable with? Like, which one of these would you feel the most comfortable having in your house?
I mean, honestly, the HD Atlas,
Me too.
or even Digit.
Yeah, me too.
And isn't
And
it funny because those are the ones that look more like robots?
right, which is what I was supposed to say. For those of you that are listening and you can't see, I wanted to kind of describe what we're looking at here. So the one that we both feel most comfortable with is retired, but also it essentially doesn't have a head.
Right.
Um,
Well,
it's got legs and
so
arms.
HD Atlas reminds me a little bit of like a dog standing upright.
Yes.
Like the familiarity aspect and the trust aspect for me is the fact that when it's on all fours, it's like, oh, it could be a pet. Like it reminds
Yeah.
me of a
Yeah.
pet.
Right. I think for me, it is simply that it doesn't look too. Yes, it has. So if I'm trying to figure out how to describe this for audio, it looks like it could be a dog standing up, but it has legs and it has arms. And what would be the head area is just this like rectangle flat
Mm-hmm.
black space. Okay.
Right. It's like a box.
Exactly. The second robot, which is called Figure One, um, true humanoid. The head, it's all silver.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the head almost looks like it has, those ski goggles
Mm-hmm.
that people
Mm-hmm.
wear that are those
The
like
ski
really,
masks. Yeah.
not a ski mask even, the glasses that
Yeah.
are like super tall on your face and reflect. That's what it reminds me of looking at that. And I find that a little creepy. I don't love that. Then
You know
the
what I
next one,
just realized, Renee?
what's that?
The ones that I am most comfortable with don't have real hands
That's interesting.
because the Optimus Gen 2, that's the one that I'm like, nope, it's too, like, I would not feel comfortable with that walking around my house
Yeah,
because it's so human looking. It has hands and fingers because
yeah,
HD Atlas has it's like balls, like
yeah.
round, it's like round ends to its appendage.
Yeah, and by the way, that makes it less functioning, right?
Sure.
Um,
But what do you need it for? Do you need it to do like
well, let me be
very
clear. That's a great question. I want a robot that I would go into debt for today if it could go up and down the damn stairs and bring me shit.
okay?
Yeah. So like if I could be like, hey, I have a collection because I tend to have a collection of glasses up here. Um, because this is where our TV room is and my desk and everything. Can you take these coffee cups downstairs for me and bring me back some fizzed water?
Mm-hmm.
If I could get a robot to do that, dude, I'm all in. Tell me how much and where to send it.
Yeah.
Um, and then if I could also say, okay, now can you vacuum the stairs for me? So it's going to
Mm-hmm.
need hands as best as I can tell for that.
Not necessarily. I mean, if it's going to vacuum stairs, like why wouldn't it have an attachment that's
An
just it
attachment.
is a vacuum? Like the appendage becomes a vacuum instead of holding a vacuum. But again, that goes back to one of our sections, which is um like the function section of how much are we willing to accommodate, like is the robot accommodating to our human environment or vice versa? Are we going to
Right.
accommodate our environment for the ease of the robot? Because what you're describing is going up and down the stairs. Okay, that's why it needs legs with joints that can go up and down
Yes.
stairs, right? Unless we all decide to change our homes to have some sort of like, I don't know, do you remember those like those motorized seats that old
Mm-hmm.
people can sit on and it goes up the
Mm-hmm.
stairs, up and down the stairs so they don't have
Mm-hmm.
to, so something like that. Like, okay, now you have to attach a track that the robot can hook itself into to go up and
Mm.
down the stairs easily,
Interesting. Yep.
right?
Yep.
So what's the trade-off? Like, are you willing to adjust your environment to accommodate the robot or vice versa? Like, do you want the robot to accommodate itself to adjust to our already existing environment?
Those are good questions. Those are good questions. So the other robot that see, I would adjust my house to a certain point, by the way, to answer your question. But I am also one lazy lady. So um Digit is the other one that you said you were comfortable with.
Hmm.
And it doesn't look like it has normal hands. I wish we could see a better view of it. Um, but its face is again like a rectangle with some rectangle eyes that glow, and that kind of creeps me out. But
Well, okay. So Digit reminds me of Johnny Number Five. Do you remember the movie like from the
oh my
80s?
god, yes,
It's like John,
yes,
and then it had flaps for the eyebrows.
yeah, yeah, that's right.
That's
Yeah,
what
I
it
can see
reminds
that.
me of. Digit reminds me of Johnny Number Five, but it has legs instead of, like a track.
What do you think about Atlas? Atlas looks humanoid, except the face,
Is a big orb.
um, it's like a round blue orb.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I like that better than Optimus.
Mm,
Um,
I don't, yeah, you're right. I do like Atlas better than Optimus Gen 2.
yeah, and then China has this thing called H1.
Did they give it clothes?
They did give it
Like, is it
clothes.
is it wearing a t-shirt
I'm pretty sure it's wearing a t-shirt.
or
Um,
is that part of the design?
I think it's wearing a t-shirt that might be part of the design. It also does not seem to have fingers.
Okay, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and its head is hollow, but it kind of looks like it has a baseball cap on.
It looks like it's wearing a hat, yeah.
Yeah. Um, and that's pretty weird. And then we have Tesla's Optimus Gen 2,
Which is
which is
essentially iRobot.
essentially iRobot. Like,
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure that he loves iRobot and just designed a robot from iRobot. Can you pull up on your screen the robot from iRobot?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. iRobot is still a little more human, but
Mm,
not just it has a more human face.
yeah.
But otherwise looks, although it has boobs. Is that boobs?
I mean, they could be boobs.
Okay. Or maybe it's just a chest. I'm not sure what's happening in that picture. Um,
But why does it need something like that?
Right. And those
Oh, here we go.
eyeballs.
Here we go. This is here.
Yeah.
This is iRobot.
Yeah. Okay.
It has eyeballs.
Um,
Yep. It has eyeballs. It has a nose. It has lips.
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Can I show you the Orville robot?
I don't know what that is, so show me.
Orville is a TV show.
Oh, okay.
So this is the Orville robot. Okay.
And Orville is a TV show?
The Orville is a TV show. It's basically like a Star Trek inspired TV show.
Okay.
So in the Orville,
Don't love those eyes.
so yeah,
Don't.
so this robot, this robot, went ahead, like one of the crew members actually asked, like, why do you have eyes? Like the pinpoint eyes. Because
Mm-hmm.
he was doing something behind the robot, and the robot knew what he was doing. And he's like, then why do you have eyes? And his name is Isaac. Isaac explained that his what we perceive as a head, like it's full of sensors, so it senses everything all around. The eyes are just to make the humans feel better.
Not working.
I know,
Just gonna
right? But
just gonna
also, even because it has, okay, if it did not have eyes, would that make you feel better? I feel like it would
No.
make me feel even more disturbed if the
Yes.
eyes were not
Right.
there.
Because if you flip back to our images of the multiple robots real quick,
Mm-hmm.
don't we have one that has no eyes? Oh, Optimus in figure one.
Mm-hmm.
No eyes.
No eyes. And I don't
Uh,
like that.
don't like it. Don't love that. I'm not here for that.
Same thing with
Okay.
Phoenix. Phoenix doesn't have eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like that.
I think I like Atlas the best.
HD Atlas.
I prefer HD Atlas, but I can live with Atlas.
Okay.
Okay, scroll down. There we go. So this is a robotic arm
Mm-hmm.
robot
In a factory.
in a factory,
Mm-hmm.
which is wildly different and worth
And again, this
thinking
goes
about.
back to what I was talking about, where the most successful robots are, it depends on the function, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
form. So this is a successful robot in a factory. It is bolted down. It does not move around. It's not locomotive, but it has a limited range of motion, but it does this task very well and so efficiently and so exact that a human cannot replicate it. Like a human couldn't do a better job.
Right.
What about this one?
Here's this one.
This one has boobs.
Okay, yeah.
Whoever designed this wants to have sex with this robot eventually.
I don't know why we have this, but this, just if you're listening, is a humanoid robot with boobs
and eyes
sitting in
and nose and a lip and lips.
all of yes,
ears.
sitting in a chair.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, with ears, sitting in a chair next to a woman who is knitting. And the robot has a book and is clearly reading to her while she knits.
Yep.
And
but the robot is also looking at her.
Right. Right. And I think the point of this to me for all of this is, what is our level of uncanny valley comfort?
Mm-hmm.
Would we want this for our mother who is retired and perhaps lonely? Something to think about. And
see, this one I'm a little bit more okay with.
Me too. Me too.
Like I am way more okay with this robot than I am with this one.
Right. And tell people that are listening what you're seeing.
So what I'm seeing is it's literally a very boxy body with a screen on the chest.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that right there, I'm like, okay, robot, right?
Yeah.
It does have arms and hands. So it has hands with fingers.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's almost a really obvious, like the arms at the shoulder, what would be considered a shoulder joint, you can see that it hinges up and down. But yeah, so in this image, there's an older woman that is holding onto the arm of the robot, and it looks like, the story I'm telling myself is, this image, the robot is leading this woman somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking physical therapy.
It could be physical therapy, yeah, but it's leading. The robot is leading.
Yep. And that's
But
our
be-
last image, but
But
yeah.
because of how boxy and not human it is,
Hmm.
I I feel like I trust it more. Is
I
that
agree.
weird?
I feel much more comfortable with this robot of all of the robots that we've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um,
Definitely more than that one.
yeah. So there you go. Okay.
Yep.
So why do robots look like human? We're going to get into it. We're going to go deep on some rabbit holes and questions, and hopefully you guys are going to find it interesting.
Yeah. So in the next episode, we're gonna go we're gonna deep dive the historical context. But part of that is, and Renee, I'm gonna put this out to you.
Yep.
So I had asked earlier a question. What is the difference between an android and a robot? Because to me, those are two different things, but you were saying that it's not two different things for you, right?
Well, no, I don't know. I
Oh,
actually have
okay.
no idea. And I have a thing I'm working on of what is a robot.
Okay. So my assumption, my preconceived notion, the story I'm telling myself right now is a robot is programmable. So a robot, it's a machine that
Hmm.
a human programs, designs and programs. It tells it what to do. It tells it an if this, then that type of sequence, right, of programming. Whereas an Android, to me, an Android has artificial intelligence. So yes, you have a robot that you have programmed, but it can learn and make its own if this then that choices. So to me, an Android has artificial intelligence um in the scope of like an not even an LLM, but kind of like what Claude did. Like
Sure.
Claude created new code and created a new thing, a new AI, right? Whereas a robot, it doesn't have the capability of doing that. A robot just does exactly what it is told.
Well, and it's going to be interesting because now that you're saying that, I'm starting to think. See, I don't watch or read sci-fi. I
Oh, I
have
do.
I have seen random episodes or at least parts of episodes of Star Trek,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I've seen some Star Wars,
Sure.
but I kind of get Star Wars and Star Trek confused.
Oh, you
Um,
just made a whole population, two different populations very upset by saying
I'm
that.
so sorry. And I've never read a sci-fi book ever.
Yeah,
So I wonder if that is kind of putting me at a disadvantage to some degree,
it could. I mean, not a
or
disadvantage, but
I don't
I
know.
I feel like that means that you're going into it a little more unbiased
Hmm. I think so.
because you don't have the same type of exposure. Again, it's going back to environment, cultural
Hmm.
experience, right? Like you were not raised in a sci-fi loving um
No.
yeah, like for entertainment or whatever. Whereas me, I love sci-fi. Like we watch
Hmm. I
sci-fi
know. I know
shows.
you do.
I read sci-fi books.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it's
Which
it's
is
very
funny
different.
because all of my closest friends, all like one of them, um, that's not true. Um, anyway, all of my closest friends love sci-fi, and it makes them crazy that I don't. And or it not crazy, it's not fair, but they're always like, "Well, what about this? What about that? What about this?"
Mhm.
I'll get recommendations from you guys, and I'm just like, I don't know, it just doesn't resonate for me, which is weird because I'm so into all this stuff.
Yeah, you really are. I'm
But
surprised.
yeah,
Yeah,
I know, me too. I keep trying, and I just can't. I just can't.
it's all
So
good.
yeah,
It
so
makes for interesting conversations.
that's true. That's true.
Mhm.
So this is episode 1 in our series, and I'm really pumped about it, and it's gonna be fun.
So join us next time for why some robots are designed to look human and what the data suggests about that choice.
Hmm. Or maybe a deep dive in advance of that.
Here we go.
I know. Rabbit holes, baby.
So many
Rabbit
rabbit
holes.
holes. Oh my gosh.
I know.
All
Yeah, no,
right.
it should be good. I look forward to that.
Yay.
Yay.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you next time.